A torrential rain pounds against the roof of a crumbling hut. Inside, the dim light of a single candle flickers wildly. Jabu, soaked to the bone and trembling, stares at a strange, glowing figure seated casually at his rickety table. The devil, dressed in an elegant black suit, swirls a glass of wine, smirking as lightning illuminates his face. Smoothly, "So Jabu, here we are. The world has given you nothing but pain, and I offer you everything. Wealth, power, respect. All you have to do is say yes." Jabu's eyes dart around the room, filled with desperation. His hands tremble as he clutches a torn piece of parchment, the deal spelled out in words that seem to pulse with a life of their own. Thunder cracks, whispering, and my soul, shrugging with a sly grin. "Just a small price, don't you think? After all, what has your soul done for you lately?" The candle flickers out. Darkness fills the room, and Jabu's voice trembles as he speaks the word that will change his fate forever. Yes. The devil's laugh echoes through the hut, chilling and triumphant, as the rain suddenly stops. Jabu, a struggling, desperate man, sits in his dilapidated hut. His hunger and debts have left him questioning the value of life. The devil offers Jabu wealth and power in exchange for his soul. Jabu, desperate, agrees. Jabu's life transforms as he becomes rich and powerful. He enjoys the luxury, but cracks in his happiness begin to show. Jabu begins noticing strange occurrences in his life. Missing money, whispers, and flickering lights. The devil reappears to remind Jabu of the contract, dismissing his complaints about mysterious debts and warnings. Jabu tries to move on, but the devil begins to haunt him in increasingly disturbing ways. The lights in his mansion flicker, shadows move on their own, and voices whisper his name in the dead of night. Late one evening, Jabu sits in his bedroom trying to sleep. Suddenly, he hears faint laughter echoing through the room. Clutching his blanket, "Who's there?" The laughter grows louder. The walls seem to tremble, and a shadow crawls across the ceiling, taking the shape of the devil's grinning face. Whispering, "Sleep well, Jabu." Jabu screams and turns on the light, but the shadow vanishes. He sits awake the rest of the night, trembling. Jabu's wealth begins to betray him. The luxurious items he owns seem to turn against him. In one scene, Jabu enters his garage to admire his cars. As he approaches his prized sports car, the headlights suddenly turn on, blinding him. The car revs its engine on its own, screeching forward and narrowly missing him. Stumbling backward, what's happening? The car's radio blares a distorted version of the devil's laughter before shutting off. Jabu flees the garage. Every time Jabu closes his eyes, he is tormented by vivid nightmares. In one, he finds himself trapped in a vast, fiery wasteland. Chained to the ground as grotesque, shadowy figures laugh and mock him, snarling, "Did you think you'd escape your fate, Jabu?" He wakes up drenched in sweat, only to hear the devil's voice in the corner of the room. "Smiling, sweet dreams, my friend." Jabu begins to lose everyone around him. His friends and allies abandon him, claiming to feel uneasy in his presence. Even his servants start to quit, saying they've seen strange things in the mansion. Speaking to Jabu, "I'm sorry, sir, but I can't stay here anymore. There's something wrong with this house." Jabu begs them to stay, but they leave, one by one. Soon, he is left alone in his grand, empty mansion. One night, Jabu hears music playing in his grand hall. When he investigates, he finds his once frozen bank accounts displayed on screens, mocking him with messages like, "Debt paid in full," and "Time's up." Screaming at the screens, "Stop it! Leave me alone!" The devil appears behind him, clapping slowly. "Why so upset? Isn't this what you wanted? Desperate? Please, take it all back. I don't want any of this anymore. Smirking, "Oh, Jabu, the deal is done. There's no undoing it now." Jabu, now tormented and alone, sits in the once grand dining hall of his mansion. The luxurious chandeliers sway eerily, the gold plates on the table tarnished, and the walls echoing with an unnatural silence. Jabu stares at the wine glass in his hand, his reflection distorted in the crimson liquid. Softly to himself, "What have I done?" He gets up and walks through the mansion, each room reminding him of his greed. The laughter of guests that once filled the halls is replaced by whispers, accusing him, mocking him. "You wanted it all, Jabu. Are you happy now?" Jabu stumbles back, covering his ears. "Leave me alone. I didn't know it would be like this." The whispers stop, but the silence is almost worse. He sinks to the floor, clutching his head. Jabu dreams of his old life, his small, shabby hut, the quiet mornings when he'd watch the sunrise, and the kindness of neighbors who shared what little they had. He sees himself laughing with children, sharing a simple meal. He wakes up sobbing, longing for the peace he once had, whispering, I thought this would make me happy." He walks to a mirror and sees his reflection. Hollow eyes, gaunt cheeks, and a face twisted with regret. He punches the mirror, shattering it. "I was happier when I had nothing." Jabu decides to give away his wealth, hoping to rid himself of the curse. He donates to charities, helps rebuild homes, and feeds the hungry. For a brief moment, he feels a glimmer of hope. But the devil appears, sitting casually on a golden throne Jabu had gifted to a local temple. Laughing, "Oh, Jabu, you really think this will change anything?" Furious, "I don't want this anymore. Take it back. Take it back. The deal is sealed, my friend. You signed. You enjoyed. Now you pay." Desperate, "Please, I'll give it all away. I'll live in the dirt again. Just let me have my soul." The devil leans forward, grinning. "It's not the riches you want to give up, Jabu. It's the consequences. Life doesn't work that way." He vanishes, leaving Jabu surrounded by mocking laughter. Jabu, desperate for answers, approaches an old beggar known for his wisdom. The beggar listens quietly as Jabu pours out his regrets. Weeping, "I wanted a better life, but I've lost everything. How do I fix this? How do I undo it?" Looking at him sternly, "Undo it? You knew the price. Regret alone won't save you. Only true sacrifice can break a pact with the devil." Confused, "Sacrifice? What do you mean?" "You'll know when the time comes. But remember, your soul may still be lost." Jabu leaves, haunted by the cryptic warning. Jabu climbs a mountain at sunset, falling to his knees and begging the heavens for forgiveness. Crying, "Please, I was foolish. I didn't know what I was doing. I'll give up everything to make this right. Just save me." The devil appears, smirking as always. Slowly, "You want to give up everything, Jabu? Even your life?" Jabu looks at the devil, his face pale but resolute. "If that's what it takes." The devil raises his hand, and Jabu is surrounded by fire. His memories flash before him. His family, his humble beginnings, the joy of his simple life. The flames die down, leaving him standing in his old, tattered hut. The wealth is gone, the mansion a ruin, but his soul feels lighter. "Your sacrifice was accepted." Jabu falls to his knees, crying with relief. But outside the hut, the devil watches from the shadows, smiling faintly. "Calmly, until we meet again, Jabu."